Good morning. Welcome to Brewtiful Morning. It's a wonderful day in Rutherford. 7th day of July. Thank you for joining us. Appreciate. We've got some special guests we're going to hear from shortly, but we're going to tell you about some things happening, especially tonight in the town of Rutherford. But I want to thank everybody that came out for our fireworks and music special we had for the 4th out in Kiwanis Park. The park was full. It's my understanding the town was full. Everybody in the area was watching what part of it. In fact, I had people from the adjoining town said they had the pleasure of sitting out on their porch and watching the fireworks. So thank you again for supporting us. It's been an extra special week with the ribbon cuttings. Got another one happening this afternoon. So it's been a very special week. We thank you for joining us. Thanks, Doug and Magnolia in our control room for getting us rolling. But it's been a great day and an enjoyable week. And we thank our guests for being with us. Doug, Magnolia, I'll turn it over and let us roll.
Awesome. Well, good morning, everybody. As you can see, we have a little bit of change of scenery and we have some extra new folks joining us this morning on Brewtiful Mornings. But I'm sure that somebody probably recognizes Steph in the lower right-hand corner. She's been on here a couple of times before. And I think, Dr. Lawrence, you've joined maybe once or twice.
Once, yeah. No, I think it was twice. I mean, I think I'm keeping checks here. It's got to be twice. Maybe different topics.
This might be the second one, but definitely twice.
Well, my memory is not so good.
But anyway, we have everybody, or we're talking about the Extreme Hike, which is a huge fundraiser for the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation. I know I've already seen Jill's comment this morning. Jill actually did the Extreme Hike back in, what was that, April? My months this year have just been crazy, but Jill actually did the Extreme Hike earlier. So we're just going to have a conversation about the Extreme Hike this morning. So Steph, I will turn it over to you if you want to do any sort of introductions.
Thanks for having us, everybody. I appreciate it. I'm Stephanie Cherry, the Development Director at the Cystic Fibrosis Western Carolina Charlotte chapter. We have Dr. Scott Lawrence on here with us today. Dr. Scott Lawrence, as you've heard before, if you've tuned into Brewtiful Mornings, has done 27 extreme hikes. He is the oldest extreme hiker and has done the most extreme hikes across the country. Also, we have Russ Jackson on with us today. Russ has done 10 extreme hikes, which is 30 miles in one day on the Appalachian Trail. Russ has cystic fibrosis. He's had his new lungs for 20 years. He is 65 years of age, which is an anomaly because people with cystic fibrosis when he was born weren't living past infancy. People with cystic fibrosis today are only living to 56 years of age. And people with double lung transplants usually on average only have about 10 years with their new lungs. So he's an anomaly in every way, completing 10 extreme hikes, 65 years of age, 20 years with his new lungs. I'm excited to have them on the show and here today to talk to you about the extreme hike and cystic fibrosis. As I said earlier, the extreme hike is a 30.1 mile hike in just one day to raise money to find a cure for cystic fibrosis, and we do it on the Appalachian Trail.
So are people that do the extreme hike, are they just absolutely like clinically insane? Because I cannot myself imagine hiking 30.1 miles in one day.
Well, if you know Doc Lawrence, then the answer is yes.
I always like the fact when you have something like that, like 30 miles, who decided at 30 miles it just wasn't enough? Let's just go another 10th. Let's go 30.1. You know? You gotta have the other 0.1 in there.
Right. So the Extreme Hike program started in the Charlotte chapter in 2009 with two volunteers, John Barlow and Amos Beeson, who decided that they wanted to hike a section of the Appalachian Trail in just one day to raise money for CF. That section was the Art Loeb Trail. The Art Loeb Trail is 30.1 miles. So that's how the mileage came to be. Not only are we offering 30.1 mile section of trail this year, we're offering 13 and 23 miles for those who want to train with us and do lesser mileage.
So
That's awesome. There's options. There's
Yeah.
no excuse anymore. That's awesome.
Doc, do you want to talk about your last extreme hike? I know that you got to finish with someone very special.
I did, and I'm surrounded by probably the best spokespeople for CF with Magnolia and Russ. Just incredible. But the last hike was the worst weather hike I was in, and we all know that. And I had the pleasure of walking out with Russ. And Russ, it was still wonderful. We talked about lots of things. I don't remember any of them, but
Neither do I.
but it was a great, I felt really privileged. So, yeah.
And so why we hike is obviously for cystic fibrosis. And Russ has been fighting cystic fibrosis for 65 years. So I'd like to hand it over to him for him to talk about what cystic fibrosis is, how it's affected his life, and a little bit about his 10 extreme hikes.
Thank you, Steph. Can you hear me okay? Just to be sure. All right. I had a few technical difficulties earlier. Cystic fibrosis is an inherited disease. It's genetic, and there's a genetic defect down at the cellular level of how people with cystic fibrosis, their body exchanges proteins and chloride. And that's the technical, brief technical definition. But what it amounts to is that it affects several areas of our body, but primarily the lungs. The mucus in our lungs is much thicker and doesn't travel around and carry out the bad things. It doesn't filter very well like it should. And we end up with more infections, as well as with that thick mucus. It damages the lungs, and that's irreparable. Once they're damaged, they're gone for good. And so what that means is, generally speaking, the person with CF, wherever they start, they continue to lose lung capacity at a fairly steady rate throughout their life. For me, I started at a time when the technologies that we have today didn't exist, and my parents were told I probably wouldn't live to go to kindergarten, and that was it was 65 years ago. And for whatever reasons, and some of them are actually, a large part of them are due to the research that was done by the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation. But I was able to get through childhood and into my 20s and even early 30s, living a somewhat normal life. My activity was normal, but there were parts of my life that included a lot of therapies and nebulizers, and I actually would do a chest percussion, which is pound on my chest, try and cough this mucus up. Anyway, and there are digestive issues, so I was always the smaller kid and couldn't put on weight. But into my mid 30s and late 30s, it really started to catch up with me. And by the time I reached 45, it was actually at 40, it was necessary for me to have a transplant, and I was able to fight it off for a while. And I had a double lung transplant at the age of 45 at Duke University. And as Steph mentioned earlier, at the time I transplanted, the expectation was there was about a 65% chance that I would be alive in a year, and much less for 5 years. But here I am 20 years later. And again, it's time to point out that so much of the donations that go to the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation has created so many therapies and new researches and medications that's allowed me to be where I am today. And it's even further, there are care centers for the CF patients where they can get everything they need, which is, of course, pulmonary doctors for their lungs, nutritionists, and gastrointestinal for their dietary functions, and many other areas where you can get everything in one place. And that's because the foundation has created these CF care centers, usually at research places such as University of North Carolina, Duke, and in South Carolina, the Medical University of South Carolina. So again, I'm very grateful to the foundation and the people that have volunteered and the people that have donated to the foundation to allow us to make the progress that we have.
And so the Western Carolina Charlotte chapter does 13 special events a year, and we have volunteers that champion other fundraisers to lead into our special events, such as the duck race that many of you guys have participated in. We're considered a rare orphan disease with a patient population of under 100,000, so we receive no federal funding. So we rely on donations from private donors and participants, such as those that participate in the extreme hike. We've had quite a few people in the Rutherfordton area participate in the extreme hike. And it is a one-day journey, like I said, on the Appalachian Trail. This year in the fall, we're hosting it October 13th through the 15th. It includes a 3-month training program in and around the Charlotte area, as well as Rutherfordton. We'll have Doc leading some hikes up here. We also visit local parks that are close to WNC, such as Bear Wallow Mountain, South Mountain State Park, sometimes Mount Mitchell, to get you trained and ready to hike either a 13, 23, or a 30.1 section of trail. This year, we're doing Damascus to Grayson Highlands State Park in Virginia. We switch up trails every year because we have a lot of people that come back. Jill hiked in April, and she will be hiking again in the fall, and Ivan will be volunteering. We also had the pleasure of Percy volunteering with us last fall. He has been one of our youngest volunteers that we've had yet. But it's a very special program, and there is fundraising involved, but with your commitment to fundraising, we put you up in a hotel in Virginia and we take care of it all. Transportation to the trailhead, food all weekend, a victory award celebration, a Sunday morning, another awards breakfast. So it's a one-day hike, but it's a 3-day event. So it's pretty magical. It's pretty spectacular. Russ has done 10 of these hikes, and he likes to say that he no longer hikes for himself, but for the posterity of people living with cystic fibrosis.
That sounds really amazing. Doc, I know you have kind of helped lead some groups around here to train and that kind of thing. What's some of your more favorite hikes here locally that you guys train on to get ready for 30 miles?
Well, we're pretty close. Bear Wallow is up in Girton, but you can head up and get on the AT up at Elk Park, and then over to, these are all places that the cystic fibrosis hike, they've hiked before, or we've hiked before. So up on the AT up there, Carver's Gap, and then I love going to Mitchell. Mount Mitchell is a wonderful. It's a good training area. A lot of rocks, a lot of climbing. So those are the main ones.
Yeah. And Steph, if somebody's kind of looking to get involved, they're listening in this morning, you know, they're thinking maybe they're extreme or maybe they're not so extreme, but 13 miles doesn't sound as bad as 30. How does somebody get a hold of you or Doc to kind of to walk through the process? No pun intended, but to be with you guys.
You can visit www.wncextremehike.org. We're looking to form a Rutherfordton team. We've already got Doc, Jill, Jerry Garfinkel. So we're looking to add to that team. If anybody wants to try a guided hike on the Appalachian Trail, this is led by our coaches. We have a 17-person coaching team. Doc is one of those coaches. They're always in front of you and behind you. There's supported aid stations along the way that have hot coffee, grilled cheese, a place to change, your friends and family. So it's a wonderful experience if you've ever wanted to hike the Appalachian Trail but didn't know where to begin, where to start, where to train, you were afraid to do it alone. We have 75 hikers that join us in both the spring and the fall. So you will be surrounded by just amazing people. I think that's one of the best parts of the program is the people that you get to meet. We have a lot of aunts, uncles, brothers, people with cystic fibrosis, spouses, but we also have people that are just looking to hike. And we introduce them to the mission of the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation by introducing them to people like Russ and Magnolia. And then we see them come back year after year, which is why we switch up the trails that we do on the Appalachian Trail.
Yeah, and we were talking before we went live that maybe Steven Hauser is going to be trying to get in somehow in the mix. And you guys probably know Steven from our viewers with him and Christy just opening up Mill Hill General Store. They celebrated their grand opening last week, actually a week ago today. So happy 1 week anniversary, Mill Hill General Store. And if you're here local and looking for an opportunity maybe to start hiking or looking for some new hiking adventures, definitely check out Mill Hill, talk to Steven and the team up there. But he's got all kinds of great maps. He's great outdoor products. He's got enough in there to get you out on the trail safely on your first hike, whether it be a map or a compass or just a water bottle and a day pack. So really good resource right here in downtown Rutherfordton for hiking adventures. So.
And best believe I'm going to walk in there later today and be like, Steven, come on now. You got to do the extreme hike. So
Again, he's done it before. He did it with us. Yeah, he did it with us last fall when we hiked from Tanyard Gap to Davenport Gap in the Hot Springs area. So like I said, we hit different parts of the Appalachian Trail, iconic parks like Max Patch, Grayson Highland State Park, where you finish with miniature ponies. We're looking to scout new trails like the Triple Crown in Virginia. So we're always looking for new ways to pull our alumni back in. And so, you know, the advancements that we've made have been amazing, and it's because of donations to the Extreme Hike, to the other events that we have through the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation, which includes a fashion event, a stand-up comedy event. We have something for everybody. So if you're interested in getting involved with the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation, it doesn't have to be the hike. But we're working on not only finding new modulators for people with cystic fibrosis so they can live longer lives, but we're working on how can we address the complications in the aging CF population now that people are living longer lives. Just 4 years ago, it no longer became a pediatric disease because more people were living over the age of 18, which we had never seen happen before. So there's complications that we're trying to fund and research that we're trying to fund as people with cystic fibrosis, like Magnolia and Russ age. And I didn't know if, Russ, you wanted to talk about some of those complications that you had seen that maybe people with cystic fibrosis had never really seen before.
Sure. Now there is a something called CFRD, which is cystic fibrosis related diabetes, and usually, well, it's due to the pancreas being insufficient, and so there's maybe some partial insulin or very little at all. So that is becoming more prominent going forward because it usually was later in life, teenage years or 20s, where that became an onset. And now the wonderful problem is that people are living so much longer that the diabetes is one of the things that is now needing additional attention because it's going to be around for a while, and gratefully, the CFers are going to be around a longer time. And honestly, at my age, it's wonderful that I have arthritis. I've got all kinds of old man diseases, and
that you're happy to have.
That I'm very happy to have. I'm happy to share, but let's not. Okay, Doc and I even had a conversation. Some of the things we're experiencing. But it is true that, while we've made such tremendous progress, now there's, since the body is, genetically deficient, there will be new things that we're going to encounter. And so as wonderful as the progress has been, there will be new complications as we go along. And that's one of them is CFRD. One thing I wanted to mention about the hike, for example, is I know it sounds intimidating, and I was the same way. I was about 10 years out of post-transplant, and when I heard about it, and I had no idea I was going to be able to do this. But the training plan, if you're If you're already, active and running and such, then, you may not be intimidated. But those who are on the couch, this training plan can get you from the couch to 30 miles in the 3-month period if you work at it. And it's not that hard. And the second thing I want to say is the community and the family that you meet with this event is amazing. As you're doing your training hikes, you're on the trail for several hours with people you may or may not know very well, and you just get to know them. You get to know maybe their first or second degree connection to cystic fibrosis, and it really becomes a family over that time period. And then on hike day, it's just a tremendous celebration.
So I gotta ask, at 30 miles, what kind of pace are you guys keeping on the AT?
Well, Russ understates himself a little bit. He is an athlete, and I think always was. And consequently, he is a leader, and it's astounding, really. So some of us have to catch up to his level to even do this, but it's a real effort, but training does work. And that's all I'll say.
So on average, people are hiking from 1.5 miles an hour to 3 miles an hour, and 3 miles an hour is very fast.
Yeah,
we've had people run it before, although this is not a race. But it takes anywhere from 12 to 16 hours to complete the 30.1 mile trail. And then, I'd just like to say that I think that fitness contributes to the longevity of Russ's life. Fitness plans were a part of, CFR's plans to get healthy. Moving helps shake the mucus out of their lungs, whether it be running or hiking or doing any activity. We're actually seeing that some CFRs that are taking a new modulator called Trikafta are able to not do their shake vest for an hour a day if they replace that with fitness. So fitness is something that has long been a part of the regimen of somebody who has cystic fibrosis, and is why Russ has been very healthy along with our other older fighters.
Yeah, that's awesome. So the hike's in October, so not too far out on the horizon for your fall hike. Is there a deadline that people need to be thinking about as far as, like Doc said, if I'm sitting on the couch, or Russ said I'm sitting on the couch, if we're ready to make that leap, is there a deadline people need to be thinking about to get into that training window to be ready?
So we kick off on July 22nd, the training and the fundraising for the program, but that doesn't mean you have to be signed up by then. We recruit through mid-August, but then past that point, you can't get too much training and fundraising done. We want to make sure that you're safe on the trails and that you have all the tools and resources that you need. So we close registration mid-August.
Very good. Well, Doc, this will make hike 28 for you, right? Is that what I'm hearing?
I guess so, yeah.
We've lost count.
Lost count.
Doc has not only done the Western Carolinas chapter hike, but he's done the Adirondacks and other hikes around the nation. So what started as a small event in the Charlotte chapter has ballooned into a national program. So people who've hiked the Appalachian Trail with us have gone on to extreme hike for cystic fibrosis in the Grand Canyon, the Pacific Crest Trail, the Adirondacks, the Ozarks, Yosemite, Zion National Park. So there's extreme hikes all across the country, including South Carolina and on the Mountains to Sea Trail in Raleigh.
One thing I would like to emphasize to someone listening to this that might consider it is what I like is the bonding of the group. There's very little, there are no balloons. There's not much yoo-hoo. It's not that kind of thing. It is going in the woods and hiking. And like Russ so aptly said, you meet people that you wind up getting to spend some time with on the trail. I bored poor old Russ to death at the end of this last hike, but we spent time together and it was great. So
And there's other ways to get involved in the extreme hike, including the event weekend volunteering. It's arguably just as tough as the extreme hike, but it is a great way to give back. You come out and support the hikers on the trails, you flip grilled cheese, you make them coffee, you take their packs, you wrap their blisters. We're always looking for people who have emergency medical services training. We're always looking for people who can drive 15 passenger vans to shuttle our hikers. So it usually takes about 30 volunteers to pull off a 3-day event. So if you're interested in supporting your Ruthven team, come out and volunteer with us. And then that's a great way to get into the hike. You see it once, you see the magic of the hike, everyone working hard to find a cure for cystic fibrosis. And then usually that's when we get people to hike with us. And I think Jill's husband, Ivan, will be volunteering for us again, and hopefully Percy.
Yeah, I'd have to imagine at that kind of pace at 30 miles that the most important thing of the day is your footwear and probably 4 or 5 pairs of socks.
Yeah. Calluses help too. That's where training comes in.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd have to imagine socks, plenty of socks.
What else are the most important things on the trail, Russ?
The most important things on the trail. I think hiking poles are very helpful to a lot of people, and that's some of the training is getting accustomed to using that equipment, and good shoes, whether it's some people use running shoes or the trail runners and others hiking boots. But again, you need to speak to someone who's professional and can help you out with those to make sure you have the right size, the right comfort. You upsize a little bit because there's going to be a lot of sweating over the time. But I'd say boots, poles, and then a good pack, because you're not backpacking. You're not going to need all this equipment. You need the essentials. Snacks and some first aid, but you don't want to overpack because you'll have people around you and you'll have aid stations. So.
And then hydration and nutrition is really important. You learn that on your training hike. But we have a lot of food that we have for people along the way, but like gels, goo, liquid IV, learning to hydrate and put nutrients into your body that maybe aren't necessarily food when you're not hungry. Things like that. And you learn all of that from our tenured coaching team. Once again, we have 17 coaches that are training with you and on the trails with you on hike day. And it's leave no man behind.
Well, you had me at grilled cheese. I think you lost me at goo.
The grilled cheese was a great addition.
Yeah,
and then we have barbecue.
Anything hot and cooked out in the middle of the wilderness is always a pleasure.
Right.
Trail magic.
One of the adventures is you're going up and down the hills on the Appalachian Trail. So your whole the temperature could be 20-25 degrees difference. Precipitation here or there. So it's always an adventure. You'll layer your clothes, you'll take them off and you put them back on. So it's a tremendous adventure. And it puts you in a very elite group of people. Fill yourself with 100 people your age and see how many have done 30 miles on the Appalachian Trail in one day. Not many.
And then we have a wide variety of people who hike. We just started a junior extreme hike program. So ages 14 and up can hike with a parent. So the parent would have to be registered for the extreme hike, but it's a great bonding experience for kids and parents. We have our first person with junior hiker with cystic fibrosis hiking this fall, Caroline Lewis. She is 14 years of age. She'll be doing the full 30.9 along with 5 other junior extreme hikers that are signed up right now. And then we see a lot of people over the age of 65 joining the extreme hike. Doc's team name is the Geezer Squad as of right now. A lot of people want a new challenge after retirement, and it's a great place to find people of all ages, of all types. I like to call the extreme hikers our motley crew. It's a very good mix of people.
Well, I just want to say to all of you guys from CF, appreciate the work that you're doing. Like Russ said, there's so many things that we don't think about that you guys do at the CF Foundation to support all of the CF patients in North Carolina. I mean, Steph, you've said it before when you're on the show that you guys don't get any federal funding. And I don't think people understand just what impact that means to the folks that are living with cystic fibrosis like Russ and Magnolia. And for you guys to come in and fill that void and try to make their life as normal as possible and make them feel, included and welcomed and supported through their journey that they don't even know what tomorrow brings sometimes, I think is huge. And so, I want to say thank you to all of you behind the scenes at the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation for the support that you do. And more importantly, like Russ was highlighting, the research that you guys do. I mean, to see Russ and to hear his story about how treatments have changed over time, and every time those treatments change, it helps prolong his life and gives hope for somebody like Magnolia or these younger hikers that are coming up behind with cystic fibrosis. And that's what this is all about, is changing lives and impacting lives through extreme measures. And so just want to say congrats for what you guys are doing.
The harsh part of that is that you buy science. And when I first heard that term years ago, I thought it was a little harsh. But that's what happens because there's no government funding. So what we're doing is incredibly important.
And then you've got heroes like Russ and heroes like Magnolia, but heroes like Doc who have no direct connection to cystic fibrosis. He, had a patient when Landon Pruitt was younger, and he started hiking because of him. So, we call those people, our heroes because they don't have direct skin in the game, but they're doing this out of the kindness of their heart. And it's just absolutely amazing to meet those kind of people, to come out to an event and to get to be in front of very important people, very lovely, kind people.
So Magnolia shared the link to sign up. If computers aren't your thing and somebody's telling you about cystic fibrosis and the extreme hike, just stop by Doc's house. He'll put you to work. For those that live in town, that that he lost a fairly good sized white oak, and so he'll need some extra hands. That'll be extreme cleaning that thing up.
Make that into an event.
So come on down. He can tell you all about it while he puts you to work. You may not be working your legs, maybe an arm with a saw or a hatchet or something, but yeah, reach out to us, reach out to anybody on the call today, go through the website, and we would love to get, like Jill said, get that Rutherford team going, or, maybe you're watching from down in Charlotte area, get that Charlotte team boosted up a little bit more.
That's great.
Yeah, everyone here knows the deets. Reach out to Magnolia or Doc, Jill or Stephen, even the Buckleys.
Very good. Well, we need to transition a little. Oh, go ahead, Magnolia.
Mary, did you have something?
Yes, I wanted to take the opportunity to thank Steph, Russ, and Scott for being with us this morning. And also want to take the opportunity to thank Magnolia. Magnolia has not been with the staff very long, but yet when she came into this community, she wanted to educate not only our staff, but also our community. She's done an outstanding job in doing it, bringing it to our attention. And not only that, we're very honored to have Magnolia as part of our staff because she does an outstanding job in her responsibilities toward the town. So she's been an incentive for all of us. And I thank all of our guests for being with us this morning.
And Mayor, I will say that yesterday was my 3-year work anniversary with the town of Rutherfordton. So I've officially been here for 3 years.
Thank you so much for inviting us and giving us an opportunity to get the word out. And we're very grateful.
Thank you all.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Well, Doc, you're free to go. I mean, like I said, we know you got a big job ahead of you. Thank you for being here this morning.
Thank you.
Thank you for everything you do.
Been a pleasure.
All right. So we do need to transition a little bit. We had a busy week last week. We got a busy week coming up ahead of us. Got a busy day today. And so we do want to kind of cap a few things. How fun was that to have a full show this morning? And it's always fun to have Doc in the room.
Oh, always.
I know he doesn't enjoy being live, but like the times before and after, yeah. And so, yeah. So last week we were able to celebrate, we mentioned before, with Mill Hill General Store with Christy and Stephen Hauser. Had a ribbon cutting with them last Friday. What an amazing day to kind of see that new small business come to Main Street. And it's been fun to watch, because they've been open and closed a little bit with the holiday week. So, I mean, with the holiday, everybody's been open and closed a little bit. They're going to get to their normal schedule, but it's been cool to see the people window shopping, when they were closed for the holiday, to see the people window shopping downtown. But they've got all kinds of neat stuff in there, a bunch of local products, a lot of North Carolina made products, and even more local than that, ultra local stuff. And homemade soaps, outdoor products, the candies. I think everybody's going crazy over the candy barrels. And then today we get the opportunity to celebrate with Enchantment's Crystal Shop and another local couple with local small business and local source stuff. And so that's going to be fun. They are right beside Hair Cutters, so kind of wedged in between Hair Cutters and Hills Hardware. And that's going to be at 3:00, I guess, is the official ribbon cutting for Enchantments. But they're going to be open from 3 to 8 because tonight is
Fab Fest.
6:00, well, 5:00 to probably 10 or so, downtown Rutherfordton, Central Street. And we've actually, with a little bit of a booking issue, they have 7 food trucks tonight. And so we needed
That's a good problem to have, though, to be honest.
It really is. It really is a good problem to have. So we're going to need a little more space. So I want to give a big shout out to Rodney Green over at 113. They were not having any events tonight. And so we're going to actually close down a little section of Court Street in front of 113 for like a little food court. So 7 food trucks, Rainbow Cactus, that's a new one. Carolina Catfish Company. I know Kona Ice is going to be there. Matt's Munchies. There's another one. Gosh, so many different. Pietro's Wood Fired Pizza.
Yeah. They're
wood fired pizza out of a food truck, folks. I mean, how much? What more can we tell you?
It's going to be great. And if you're not going to go to Fab Fest, they'll definitely be here for the movie next Friday.
Yeah. And I know a lot of you guys are fiending because Yellow Sun took a few days off for July 4th. So they went on their family vacation for July 4th. So what better to slide in there with a little Pietro's Wood Fire to crave your cravings from Yellow Sun being out of pocket this week. And so we hope Kim and James are having a great vacation. Can't wait to get them back and see what creations they bring back to town. So it's going to be a fun afternoon. You've got fantastic Fridays at Kid Census. Kid Census is open late. A lot of our businesses downtown are now staying open later because of Fab Fest. So if you're kind of cruising the block for Fab Fest, you're checking out everything that's going on with with going on with the music and the stuff on Central Street, make sure you make a lap. Go through the Main Street Park. Maples on Main is going to be open late tonight. And a big shout out to them with my new coffee mug. Love this thing. Check them out. They've got great coffee at Maples on Main, by the way. I mean,
I've never had anything bad from there, though. Like,
this is true.
Yeah.
Well, the one time Dan didn't give me a hug, and that was kind of bad.
It's $1 more for that, though.
Yeah, I know, but I paid the $1 more. Anyway. Yeah, so Maples on Main's going to be open. Mill Hill will be open. Main Street Market will be open. Impulse Art Studio will be open. Sunny days. And today is World Chocolate Day.
It's so fitting. So fitting for our downtown.
So fitting. Gosh, if you haven't had the fudge from Sunny Days, you just haven't lived.
And if you're not a whole big chocolate person, they do have a butter pecan. I don't know if they have it in stock right now, but oh my gosh, the butter pecan fudge is my favorite.
Speaking of stuff that's my favorite,
Scoops.
It's actually Scoop. Did you know that?
It's just more natural for me to say Scoops
because you want to put two.
Yeah,
you want
can't
two.
Just
I get it.
one.
I get it. Well, they have more than one location,
right?
So, but their location here in Rutherfordton, they have the collaboration with Davis Donuts. I heard they might have sold out.
No way.
But I'm still gonna rep this. Davis Donuts Orange Twist donut, Rutherford County favorite.
Mhm.
slapped in the middle of some orange cream ice cream.
I think like it was like within the first week that I worked here, somebody was just like, "Have you had an orange twist yet?" And I was just like, "What?" So it's definitely a Roco fave here.
Got to check them out.
Mhm.
A lot of fun activity happening downtown. New mural is up. New mural merch is here at Town Hall. I actually was going to wear mine today and then wore the old school mural. So big shout out to the team over at C&H Wholesale for letting us use another wall on one of their buildings for the new S.E. Kwambaderi mural. Check that out while you're in town for Fab tonight. And more big news. If you're not in town, I know where you're going to be. You're going to be in Wilson, North Carolina, because that's where the Rutherton 7-8-year-old Little League team is going to be playing in the state championships. So good luck tonight. They're going to be starting off tonight. They're down in Wilson. That's where the host city is for the 7-8-year-olds. So tonight on Gillette Field #1 at 6 o'clock, Rutherton is going to be taking on Weddington. So it's a double elimination. And then tomorrow morning at 9 a.m., they're going to take on Henderson, Field 3 down there. And so really want to give those families and those kids a big congrats and a kind of a Rutherton support for their efforts, and really hope that they do well in the state playoffs.
Have we shared that on social media?
I don't know if we have or not.
I think we should.
We should.
Sure.
They were actually down at the fireworks at Kiwanis Park raising money. I think they raised a couple $100 to help them. You can reach out through their Rutherton Little League on Facebook. I know they're still trying to raise funds. They were, just trying to make sure that travel was covered for the kids and, hotel rooms and that kind of thing. Kind of a once in a lifetime experience for these kids.
For sure. I didn't even know that they had state playoffs for Little League.
Yeah. So they won the division. It was kind of a back and forth between them and Forest City. It was a larger division, but them and Forest City went at it. And I don't know the specifics of I don't have it right in front of me, but I feel like it was an epic battle. Like from what I remember, Forest City went up. They were up big. And then Rutherton came back in the middle of the game, kind of tied it up, went ahead. And then it was like this just epic battle between Rutherton and Forest City Little Leaguers. And then Rutherton came out on top.
Game of the century.
Game of the century, never gave up. But they'll be down in Wilson starting tonight. So big support to them, and hope they do well. Hit them all out of the yard.
Absolutely.
Yep. We've had some experiences in the past from Little League teams. So this is a great area for our Little Leagues to be a part of. We thank for all the coaches and all the families that are involved in those Little League programs.
And I rode by Crestview Park this morning on my way in, and we're about 80, I'm going to call it 85%, okay. 85% complete with the new playground installation. So the installers, the smaller playground that's geared up for probably 18 months to 5 years old. We kind of call it the tot lot or the little kids lot. It's done, mulched, ready to play on. The geodesic dome area for the new dome, it's just about complete. Our public works team is mulching it today. And then the larger play area, which is really kind of geared for kids 5 and up, they've made good progress on that. And hopefully by tomorrow, Sunday, that'll be all completed, and then public works team will come in there and mulch it up so everything will be ready. So definitely slide by Crestview Park, check out the new play equipment. It looks beautiful. The color scheme matches the park now, matches kind of Rutherton colors, and so it really looks good. And want to say a big thanks to the install team that's been getting that put together for us.
And our public works department, who's constantly on standby to go mulch it.
Yeah. And with the big storm that kind of came through, I want to say we had like a microburst right here in downtown Rutherford during that storm that came through on Monday. And boy, our guys are right up, Johnny on the spot, really helping clean stuff up. But a lot of trees down, a lot of storm debris, and really making an impact on that kind of thing. So. Then I'd be remiss. Next Friday is a big day here in Rutherford. So get your markers out, get your poster boards out, get your twirlies and your whoop-de-doos and your hippie lops, and come on down to Main Street Park at 4 a.m. We'll be there
Oh gosh, I forgot about that. I thought we were talking about movie in the park.
Well, I don't know that I'm gonna make it to Movies in the Park. Somebody else is gonna go check that one out. That's next Friday night. But and Pietro's will be there for that one, right?
Yep.
Pietro's will be there. But next Friday we are going to be live with WSPA, Christine Scarpelli, and the whole team.
5 a.m.
Live on WSPA Channel 7, starting at 5 a.m., going from 5 a.m. to 10 a.m. At 9 o'clock. In the 9 o'clock hour, we'll switch over to York, Carolina with Christina and Malachi. And yeah, it's going to be a fun morning. We're going to be able to celebrate and highlight, I believe it's 8 businesses in our downtown. And so they'll be live with us. We'll be able to do some stuff with a meteorologist and one of our local teachers on that. And yeah, it's going to be a fun morning. So come out, be a part of it in the park.
We would love for this to be some sort of like Good Morning America, like everybody in the background with like the big signs, like waving them. Like we want to just give them everything that Rutherfordton's got. And we know those people are out there.
Yeah. And I was talking to Christine and she was like, hey, you guys need to make sure you have a table full of Rutherfordton gear and tchotchkes and all that kind of stuff. And she's like, a lot of communities, when we do these, they might bring one thing. And I was like, you just don't understand. The mayor's got a closet full of different colors of
through the years
of Rutherfordton shirts. I think it's going to be a battle to see which one he wears.
I've got them already lined up.
So
maybe he'll just change shirts so it's a different one.
We've got he's got like
great
8 times
idea
to be on the air. So
for sure.
Yeah. Come out, have some fun next Friday. If you've got a few minutes, we'll be there from 5 a.m. to 10 a.m. I did get the official word that our friends at Maples on Main are going to be open starting at 5 a.m. And so if you come out at 5 and you're looking for some coffee or some breakfast, check them out. They're also going to be open Sunday.
Are they doing Sunday brunch?
Sunday brunch.
I'm so excited.
And they're going to have French toast.
This is news to me.
Wait,
that is very exciting.
That is true.
I got this video.
I love French toast.
I guess I could.
Oh my god!
I guess I could show our viewers.
It's not just like regular French toast. It looks like the stuffed French toast, like with the good brioche bread.
Oh my goodness!
Good Lord!
Okay,
so this Sunday.
This Sunday, go after church. Go before church and after church.
Both.
Go all morning.
Just stay there.
Why not?
Order food.
Okay. Yeah. What else?
I meant to look at everything that we have going on.
Oh,
but
next week's a town council meeting.
Oh yeah, because we postponed it because of the holiday.
Yeah, next week's town council meeting. Pretty light agenda, but a good one to come to. There'll be some updates, announcements, those kind of things. Not heavy on business items, Mayor. So not a heavy.
But it's the start of our new fiscal year. So we're officially into July. I know that we'll have some budget amendments and everything right off the bat.
Yeah, we will. We got a lot of projects. We have a lot of projects that kind of carry over. So we've got some grant funds that stay kind of in our operating account. And so you'll see a budget amendment on there that looks fairly large, but like one of them, we had a $500,000 grant from the Dogwood Trust for some work that the Redevelopment Commission is doing. Well, obviously we didn't spend all that $500,000. So that'll transition over into next year's budgeting and that kind of thing. So, there's a couple of funds like that. Some not as extreme as $500,000, but do obviously add up. Rutherfordton Roots will have a carryover for some of the stuff that they're doing. So yeah, a little budget amendment to kind of carry some grant funds from year to year, make sure our projects continue to move forward. So a lot of great activity here in town, a lot of different things going on. And so I want to say thank you to everybody that's kind of bringing that synergy together in 2023. The other thing, just to highlight some stuff that's coming up kind of on the radar, we knew this was coming, but the milestone of submitting the plans to the building inspections office happened this week for 2 projects that are pretty exciting to me here in town. Project number 1 is kind of the completion of Park Crossing. So a couple of years ago, the town council approved a land development permit for 8 buildings down there. Right now there's 6 buildings in the clubhouse and the pool. It's kind of on the ground. The final 2 buildings, so 44 more apartments come into Park Crossing to complete that project. Those permits or those plans were submitted for permits, and so we'll see that construction pretty soon. Been working with that developer. There's still 17 acres left at Park Crossing, so I call it the right-hand side. And so we're looking at some options for development there, whether that be single-family homes or maybe attached townhomes, condos, those type of things. So looking at something different than apartments. And so really working with that developer there for some unique housing options in Rutherton. So that's going to be really fun to kind of diversify that and obviously give that waiting list of over 100 people at Park Crossing some relief. And right here in downtown Rutherfordton, the building that sits on the corner of Court and Central. So the addresses are actually 122 Court and 126 Court. It's one building. It's actually the building that has the old Coca-Cola mural and the Beckler minted Mint Master mural on it. The owner of that building has applied for historic tax credits to do a full historic renovation of that building. And they are going to be starting their construction soon. So they've been approved by the National Park Service, who manages the historic tax credit programs. And that is going to be renovated into 4 apartments upstairs. And then downstairs will be 1 retail space. So if you guys remember where Ethan had his art studio, that will be a retail location. So all retail there. And then the one that has the Mint mural on it, kind of the side closest to Central Street, that's going to be what kind of described as like a live work style. So it could be an apartment, or it could be a office, or it could be a combination thereof. And so that process was getting ready to start. We've already been talking to the owner about kind of doing a vlog series to kind of share the history of the building, share what the building has been throughout the years. And so stay tuned. We're going to be sharing some of that stuff about the building and kind of how that's going to go, and kind of share some of that historic renovation along the way, so you can see the true amazing transformation of that building. But that's going to be fun. So we'll have some residents right downtown to add to those that are already there. And then,
but good Lord, like what a location. You don't really have to leave your home to, go attend Fab Fest or anything like that.
It would be fantastic. The town's got the little parking lot right behind it, so easy parking for the residents. And it's going to be a fun little project. So there will be some times where, we'll have some road closures around that building, just with 0 lot lines, to put a new roof on it and do some renovations. But that's going to be a fun little project over the next few months. And then we're also meeting with the group that did the Mac and Go building, which was the old West and Sons. That's now open. They're finished. Their interior is done. They're getting ready to finish up their exterior, their patio area out front. But now phase 2 is the old Feed and Seed building right behind it on First Street. So we're actually meeting with them today. So I'm really excited to see kind of what their plans are for that.
That is so
building.
exciting.
Yeah.
I can't wait to hear what they end up doing.
Yeah. A lot of stuff going on, Mayor. A lot of stuff to start bringing forth, and just fun time to see downtown continue to transform.
You touched on it, and I'd like to just follow through, give a shout out to our Public Works Department. They have a full-time job on beautiful days, but whenever we have a storm that comes through that brings down trees on the road and everywhere, they have done an excellent job to clean all that up. Even a tree right here next to Town Hall came down, and they were right on outside of their own schedules and to clean stuff up and get the town going in a better direction. So hats off to all those men and women over there that work when they're called, just like our other staffs. When they're needed, they're out there. So I personally want to thank them on behalf of all our citizens.
All right. Well, this is fun, beautiful mornings. They're just getting more fun and fun. I guess maybe it's the coffee.
I think it's the coffee, because I'm struggling over here.
All right. If you haven't been out in downtown Rutherton, tonight's the night. Start off in Enchantments at 3 o'clock, go down to Kid Census, tour the whole block, check out all of the cool things that are happening. The next, kind of in the stack of cards, the next one is the grand reopening of Amendment 21. Rocky and his team are getting ready to work through that. If you haven't popped into Mama's Restaurant and Bar, check them out. They're open now. They're going to be doing kind of a formal ribbon cutting pretty soon. They're working the kinks out and getting all their stuff with their food vendors going. So kind of a soft approach into Mama's, but a lot of great things going on downtown Rutherton. Come out and explore, and can't wait to see everybody tonight for Fab.
I encourage everybody to come out. Last month was probably one of the most successful Fab nights we've had in history. And so we anticipate even better tonight. So I encourage you to come out, be a part of a fun night in the town of Rutherton.
Come by and get your. Oh, you're good. You're good.